Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano catch-up, where every Friday we take a look back at the main news, items and events within the Cardano ecosystem that caught my eye this week. So I sat down with Frederik from the Cardano Foundation. I'll give you the highlights from that one, looking at the Cardano SPO Vote and how that's going in terms of governance on Cardano. Lots of different project updates, from updates to pre-sales to audits to just general leaks. We'll take a look at some of them. Talking a bit about Legder and the controversy from this week, and a few other things will probably pop up. Timestamps below as usual. If you get value, please do share it out. Give the video a like, comment questions or anything, even for the algorithm below. I do appreciate it. Let's jump into it. So we'll kick things off with taking a quick look at the TVL for Cardano and where we stand. I think last week when we looked at this, we were around 173 million. So up slightly on the week, not too bad. If we look at where the difference has come into it, if we look at min swap is up 10%. Let's reorder this. So VyFi, not sure what's going on with the icon here. That needs to be updated. But VyFi up 45, nearly 46% in the last 7 days. So we'll have a bit of a talk about them because they launched on Mainnet this week. Liquid Finance is well up here with 42%. Fluid Tokens is up 16%. MinSwap up, so not a bad week there in all. Some of that is related to staking. If we take that off, you can see that VyFi and Liquid Finance both disappear from there, from the top gainers anyway, because some of that would be the vaults that VyFi have. And then for Liquid, it is more people starting to stake their LQ token. If we look down here then, in terms of loss over the last 7 days, you have Lending Pond, you have Wing Riders and Sunday Swap with some small losses there too. So next up then we have the Cardano SPO Vote, which is a big step for on-chain governance for Cardano. So I'm sure lots of people will have heard of this, so I'm not going to go too deep down into it. Myself and Paddy talked about it on Wednesday night in the live stream. There's timestamps under that video if you want to go back and watch it. And we might do a dedicated one in the next few days, diving deeper into this for anyone that wants to get more information. But what it is that right now there is a vote ongoing on the mainnet on Cardano, where SPOs can go in and vote and give their opinion on what the parameters should be set to for Cardano. Now this is going to be input. When I sat down with Frederik, then we talked a bit about this too, and he said that the poll here, the results of this, will be taken into a committee afterwards with representatives from Emurgo, IOG, the foundation and some community members to discuss the results and then finalize what is going to happen on mainnet. So you can see that the answers people could give are to keep K where it is at 500 and the minimum pool cost at 340. So just high level to explain what these are for anyone who hasn't heard of them before. K equal to 500 is what is set at the minute. The K parameter defines what the saturation point is for stake pools. So right now, pools are saturated when they get to about 70 million, so there's no incentive to get more stake into them pools. People should be looking to move into other pools if their stake pool they're in is near that 70 million, or might even be 71. It's defined by the total circulating supply of ADA divided by whatever the K parameter is. So right now that's at 70 million, and there's a fixed cost of 340 ADA per epoch. So this fixed cost is what stake pool operators must charge for running the pool. And this is taken out of the total pool rewards that are paid out per epoch. So this isn't taken out of any one individual's rewards. It's taken out of the total overall rewards. Then the margin fee is taken out, and then the rest is split over delegators. So at the minute, the votes are to keep K at 500, which would mean that everything stays the same in terms of saturation level, and reduce the pool cost, the fixed pool cost, to 170 ADA, increase K to 1000, which means that the saturation level for pools would come down from in around that 70, 71, whatever it is, down to around 35, 36 million ADA. Keep the cost at 340, or increase K to 1000 and set the cost to 170. So you can see here at the minute, the increasing K to 1000 and reducing the pool cost to 170 is winning, but you will notice that none of the provided options is getting a decent amount of votes there right now too. And the reason for this is lots of people don't agree with how this has been structured. I think potentially this should have been two different questions. What do you want to see K at? And what do you want to see happen with the min pool costs? Now there is the variable margin cost, which is something that the SPOs can set themselves. And my own preference on this would be that over time, the min fixed cost probably needs to be taken away, and I would be more in favor of a min variable cost. Maybe set a 2% minimum that pools have to charge, because if you don't have something there, then that means it's going to be a race to the bottom. If pools aren't earning enough to actually provide good infrastructure for running the pools, then the network can become a little bit less secure if pools aren't actually earning enough to pay for the higher end setups that some run. You can run cheaper setups, or you can run better redundant systems, and there's a mix of that throughout the ecosystem. So that's why I think some are voting against any of the above options, but it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. And if you look at AdaStat here, you can go down then and you can see what every stake pool operator is voting for. Some put in comments. This one here has a comment, so you can see, think that the measures for multiple pools are also necessary. So this is keep K at 500 and cost to 170. So it is interesting, and there's different people put in different comments of why they are voting on certain aspects. Within the interview with Frederik during the week, we talked a bit about the SPO Vote. We talked about the Cardano Foundation focus, some of the partnerships, and we talked in around how or why they partner with certain projects or what they build. In short, generally what they like to do is they don't like to partner and build something just for one project. If they can build something that will benefit a lot of different projects or more infrastructure, then that's something they definitely do look at integrating with. Talked about the Cardano Summit 2023. Frederik has been going out talking to lots of different regulators and policymakers, and it was interesting to get his feedback on how he's been perceived when he's coming in talking about blockchain, and they all seem to be very open. Especially in the last year, people really do seem to be more perceptive to blockchain and wanting to learn about it, which is great to see. So I will leave a link to that interview down below for anyone who wants to dive deeper into that one too. Then just on the summit and the foundation, they have put out a call here for speakers for the summit. So if you have something you want to talk about, you think would be good to get some airtime, whether that's a project or something else, then you can put in your proposal here if you want to speak. I'm not sure if the speakers will be voted on or how that's going to work. In the interview with Frederik, we talked about there will be voting when it comes to the summit this year. I'm not sure if that's just for the awards or for the speakers too. Probably for the speakers. And the summit is happening the 2nd to the 4th of November in Dubai. Next up, we have an announcement here from Sebastian from dcSpark with $100,000 grant for projects that want to integrate with Wallet Connect. So Wallet Connect is something that helps integrate between Web 2 and Web 3, and it's one of the standards across the industry. So dcSpark through Catalyst have put this out that they want to help projects start integrating to get Cardano more accessible to others across the cryptocurrency space and even outside of that. You can see there's more details on it here and how you can apply. There is a date on it. Where is it? So this is more for projects and builders within the ecosystem, but I just wanted to highlight it. So you can see here, deadline for the integration is July 31st. The grant is 100,000. There will be a maximum per applicant of 15,000, no matter how much they get. But however many completed, it will be split up. The 100,000 will be split up between them with a maximum of 15,000. Great to see initiatives like this. Another prize fund that didn't get such good light this week was the Emurgo Hackathon, where they had, all the talk was about $2 million in funds, or up to $2 million for the hackathon. They put this out during the week talking about that all the funds here, these are all the prizes that are going to be for the hackathon. But when you start to add them up, the total prize fund is $100,000. A fair bit short of the 2 million that was talked about. I did listen to a Twitter Spaces. I tweeted about that somewhere else, and they did talk about how it's going to be $100,000 in prizes, and then there's going to be 1.9 million to invest into different projects that take part in the hackathon. So I don't know if that's investing for a percentage or how that's going to work, but there is people not happy about how some of the advertising for that was put out. But we'll see how that plays out, and once I hear about if there is any term sheets or what the requirements are on the investments of that 1.9 million, I will let you guys know. Next, we have Coinbase highlighting a Cardano project, and this is Empowa. So the Coinbase were highlighting about Mozambique and how the interest rates are gone as high as 22% for mortgages. And they started talking then, is it further down here, talking about Empowa, a company making homes more accessible to Mozambicans by tapping into NFTs and blockchain technology to update an antiquated loan system. So let's give that a like. Great to see a project on Cardano getting highlighted here. Hopefully it's not the last we will see of Coinbase highlighting Cardano projects, but Empowa is one that is out there trying to build and change what is happening in the traditional system. Next, we have VyFinance. So VyFinance went live on Mainnet this week. Congratulations to VyFinance. And the farming for that is going to start on May 29th. So I sat down with Stephen probably 2-3 weeks ago now, and we talked a bit about VyFinance and what it was going to be. I will put a tutorial together fairly soon. I might wait until the farming goes live, and then I'll put out the tutorial to show how all that works and how the LP tokens work for that you don't actually have to stake them or submit them to actually be included in farming. Then we have Cornucopias. So we had episode 50, highly anticipated episode of Cornucopias. That's Rob and Josh. They've been on the channel here a few times. I think they will be on again fairly soon. So in this one, I'll play this one in the background. Actually, we'll turn off the audio on it, just so you can see what's going on. So this was a walkthrough of the game where Rob and Josh were walking through one of the areas within Cornucopias. So this is where the racing game is going to happen. They didn't show the track in this one, but over the next few weeks within Kopi Cafe, which is the show they do every week, we're going to start to see more and more of actual gameplay. Now, the quality of this mightn't come through just as good in my video as you will have seen in theirs. So I will leave links to it down below that you can go and check it out. But if I skip through here just to show you some of the differences, some of the outside scenes are very good. When you see here the detail in the background, I'm really looking forward to seeing in one of the domes here. Looking forward to seeing what this looks like over the next few weeks. Great to see some of these leaks now coming out from Cornucopias. And once again, as I get more leaks or anything like that, you can be sure I'll highlight them here on a weekly basis. Then we have from JPG Store that you no longer need to set collateral using JPG Store. So this is a migration. It will happen automatically on update, which means you'll pay less fees. Previous to this, it's like when you're interacting with any Cardano smart contracts, you need to set collateral in your wallet. So it's great to see that the user experience is getting easier. So far, I think it's just on JPG Store. I'm not sure if this is going to happen across other dApps, but it is really good to see. The easier we make the user interface and the experience for new users coming in, the better it is for adoption of Cardano and crypto in general. Next up is something that I thought this was a joke post when I seen it first. It was Bison Coin shared this one about Cherryland, talked about their development update, and someone asked about the audit, and they said it's already audited by Vacuum Labs that AADA completed the audit. So it's been mentioned a good few times at this point that Cherryland, a protocol building on Cardano, has forked the AADA code. I did think that they would fork it and maybe make some changes to it, but it looks like they're not going to be making any changes to the smart contracts that they have been able to take from AADA. So they're considering that is their audit done, and they're going to launch like that. Not sure that's really what the idea that AADA had when they open sourced their contracts for other people to take a look at them, that people would copy them 100% and not make any changes. But let's see where that goes. Just on Cherryland too, you can see they had a pre-sale during the week where they put out an address which could come back to have issues later down the line. I'm not sure. They put out a random address. People had to send ADA to it to get involved in the pre-sale. You can see as soon as they released the tokens here, the price dropped, got pumped up, and at the minute it's sitting at 0.3 ADA, which is just below what the pre-sale price was, because you got 3 cherry tokens for every 1 ADA. So in around 0.33 is the pre-sale price. Not sure where it's going to go. They did release a lot of tokens initially. That's why I did look at it and thought maybe get into it. But when I seen the amount of tokens that were going to come on to the market with nothing live yet, I sat back out of it, and I'm still sitting out and waiting to see what happens on it. Hopefully we do see some good things from the protocol, but just be careful with anything that you are investing into. Then on to Indigo Protocol, some good updates from Indigo. They're going to be starting putting out a newsletter if you want to check that out. I have shared it on my Twitter and I will link it down below here. Indigo is starting to get a lot more attention lately. Great to see, because look, they have been one of the more solid protocols to launch on Cardano with no issues as far as I know since they have launched. Great. Must actually try and catch up with Eric fairly soon to find out what's coming next for Indigo. And on this, they also highlighted one of their features that is a really nice feature to have is the fee sharing. So all of the fees generated by the protocol, they are shared out with stakers of Indy. So that doesn't just include Indy tokens. So when you stake your Indy on the protocol, you also earn ADA that is picked up in fees. Really good feature. Love to see this rolled out with other platforms because it's more incentive to actually hold the underlying token of the platform. Then we have MELD. They have completed the token migration process. So the wallet is now open and working. So you can convert your old MELD token into the new version of the token. I think Farid from Dapp Central has done a really good tutorial on that. So I can link that one down below for anyone who wants to take a look at the process and how it works. Blueshift, another interview I put out during the week. So Blueshift are going to be launching their cross-chain swaps fairly soon. So I had this interview maybe 2-3 weeks ago, but we just put the video out this week where I sat down with Stephen from VyFi, Phil from NMKR, Pete from Learn Cardano, and Igor from Blueshift to talk all about what Blueshift is, how the Cardano index works, which is something that you can buy and it gives you exposure to multiple different Cardano projects. And we also touched on the cross-chain swaps that they will be launching fairly soon. Legder, this is the controversial one this week, and I'm only going to give a high level here. I presume most people heard of this. I also done an interview with Kyle from Epoch Sec this morning. That one's going to come out in the next few days. That's all about security and general things to be aware of and what he's doing. So we talk a bit more about Legder in that, as well as the live stream with Paddy during the week. In short, they released a new feature that they must have thought was going to go down really well, where you have the option on your Ledger to opt into this. Now, it is an opt-in feature, and you opt in and you can pay a monthly fee to actually back up your seed phrase. So the seed phrase or the private key is sharded. I think it's the seed phrase actually. It's sharded into 3 pieces. They're sent off encrypted to 3 different third parties. You have to KYC for this. So if you ever lose it, then you can use your KYC to get back the 3 encrypted versions and set that up on a new device. Loads of different questions on this, how secure it is, and I'm sure it is secure. My biggest issue is they're rolling this out on all of the Nano X's. So if you do take the latest firmware, then you don't have an option to not install this functionality. Yes, you do have to opt into this function when you do install the firmware, but when you see what happens across the crypto space, there's always issues there. When you add in new features like this, it adds in possible exploit vectors. You look at how many contracts get exploited across, especially across Ethereum. You go into send transactions, and when you're looking at your Nano, there's loads of different things pop up. Do you authorize this? Do you authorize that? And people just scroll through them all, click through them, and don't really read. Potentially, hackers could create something there that creates a transaction that authorizes this function on the ledger, and maybe it can get exported out. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. I just don't like that they have brought in this feature. To me, it potentially does have use cases for new people coming into crypto, but they should have created a new device for this and not rolled it out across the older devices. They've really got torn apart this week, and there's a few things like this here is what they used to talk about. Your private keys never leave the secure element chip, and this was a big selling point for Ledger. And now they're saying that technically speaking, it's always been possible to write firmware that facilitates key extraction. So this is all coming from Ledger, and what used to be one of their big selling points, they're saying now, well, actually it was only ever a firmware update away. Not a great look. Trezor was really on point with their social media. They launched a sale straight away with 15% off their hardware wallets, and some of the responses across social media were fairly good too, starting to get lots of attention out there because they have open sourced their code, so you can go in and check it out and see what's going on. Lots of calls for Legder to do the same now, but I don't know if they will go down that path. They've definitely done a lot of damage to their brand name with what has happened here. And outside of Cardano, just because we mentioned it a few times, just to look at the Bitcoin Mempool or Mempool, meme coins are on the brain. You can see here that it is now down under 300,000 unconfirmed transactions, down from I think the 450 we looked at initially maybe 2 weeks ago. So it is on the way down, but that's because meme coin season and BRC20 tokens have cooled off a bit in the last week. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon. Share this out if you think others can benefit, and thanks for watching as always.